at 4,900 pounds in the right corner is the Great Dane of Mazdas, the all-new CX-90. It's here to eventually replace the CX-9, offering a little bit more passenger volume and cargo space as well. Now, Mazda is continuing to move forward to a more premium and luxurious feel, and you're definitely going to see some luxury features in the top trims of the CX-90. The base MSRP is $39,595, so there is a more accessible price point and making the lower trims slightly more accessible. And it's still going to compete with those mainstream three-row SUVs. However, what those don't have to offer is a plug-in hybrid powertrain. You're going to have to jump up to the luxury price points in order to get a three-row plug-in hybrid, making the CX-90 pretty difficult to compete with. The CX-90's powertrains were initially a little bit confusing, so to spell it out pretty easily, there's essentially three powertrains available. There's that plug-in hybrid that I talked about, there's a mild hybrid, and a high output mild hybrid, and those are going to be signified with an S in its nomenclature. And what I mean by mild hybrid is that this is only going to have a 0.33 kilowatt per hour battery capacity, whereas a full hybrid is just going to have a larger battery system. Underneath this very long hood, you will find Mazda's eSkyActiv 3.3 liter turbo inline 6 hybrid powertrain. This is a non-S trim. We're looking at a premium trim here, a turbo premium trim. So you're gonna get 280 horsepower, 332 pound-feet of torque, and it is all-wheel drive. So with premium fuel, you can get 24 miles to the gallon in the city and up to 28 on the freeway. And this powertrain is capable of towing up to 5,000 pounds. The CX-90 is basically like the CX-9 started taking protein shakes as far as how the exterior looks. It just looks a lot beefier. Everything's a lot wider, way more substantial. So loving the headlight shape here is unlike a lot of other Mazda headlights that we've seen with these fun little light details here. These are going to be LED headlights. They will have automatic high beam assist as well. And I'm super loving this new grille design. Everything is a little bit more vertically shaped. It's a nice gloss black grille there. And then some nice chrome detailing at the bottom. You've got pass-throughs because it's so wide. You get some cooling through there, better for aero as well. And then moving around the side, you will have the black wheel arch moldings that continue down the side moldings as well. Next to that, just a plain black inline 6 badge here. On the higher trims, this is gonna be like a dark chrome and be a little bit flashier. And then you will get 21-inch, like a silver finish wheels. They're a little bit understated, however, very well sized for this vehicle, especially it's just big. So if the wheels were any smaller, it would just look super unbalanced. And then some nice chrome detailing along the bottom here as well, with a nice little Mazda right there on the side. This is neither a compliment nor an insult, just a statement. I think the back looks a lot like a minivan. You do have a body colored little spoiler up here on the Turbo Premium. Would have been cool if they could have tucked your wiper blade up underneath that just to get it out of sight. Moving on down, you have very Mazda LED taillights. They just iconically look like Mazda. You don't even have to have the badge there to know that's what it is. Also could have been cool if we could have seen the exhaust down at the bottom, but again, that's not like a big deal breaker here. I don't think that's something that's necessarily important to the buyer of a CX-90. One cool feature that you do have is a power programmable liftgate that comes standard on all trims. Looking in the back, in this little section right here, you're gonna have roughly 15 cubic feet of cargo space. Can very easily fit potentially one carry-on bag back here, depending on how tall it is, potentially even 2 if you're good at wiggling things around. Underneath here is where you're gonna start to access some of your spare tire tools, and then it is fidgety, but once you lift this all the way out, just know there is a full spare tire in there. It's just a little bit challenging to get that out. You also have a little 12-volt power source tucked away right behind me here, some LED lighting, really easy little pulls to drop down your third row, giving you access to about 40 cubic feet of space with that. And then if you fold that second row captain's chairs down, that's going to give you access to about 74 cubic feet of cargo space. So a whole lot of room, slightly more than that CX-9. Accessing the third row is pretty straightforward. You just fold your seat down and then you pull it forward, give it a little push, and then you can give it a little climb in back here. Okay, so with the seat adjusted all the way forward, you can get up to 30 inches of legroom. This would have been nice to have a handle back here. Okay, I think, yeah, so there's, if that seat's adjusted where it's at, this is actually literally not nearly as bad as I was expecting. But if this seat is all the way back, you about to be crunched back here. It is definitely meant for very tiny children. You have some nice air vents back here, which is very, very nice. There's a lot of third rows where that's not a thing, which seems really inhumane in my opinion. You've got USB-C charging back here. You got two cup holders back here as well. And nice soft faux leather seating back here. So actually, I'm slightly surprised that this is, I'm good. So there's a lot to admire in the second row of just the turbo premium trim. So some of the things are the nice leather trimmed seats, and you also have a little armrest here for your captain's chairs. Also important to mention that the three trims below this one will come standard with a bench seat, allowing you to seat up to 8. But the captain's chairs are standard on this trim. You do have two cup holders in the door down here, and then there's this cup holder right here. It doesn't fit my water bottle. I realize that it's extra, but I mean, like, it's gonna fit your soda from like your fast food or like a small, like, standard plastic water bottle that's not bedazzled. So a few other cool things. You also have a retractable window shade here, which is great for sun protection and privacy. And you have two USB-C charging inputs back here. You also have your own controls for the vents as well, and you can change the temperature. Super duper love that you can control that instead of being like, excuse me mom, I'm dying back here, please turn up the AC. Also really nice that this has the panoramic sunroof on this trim, standard. Nice that you don't have to add that on as a package, just on the turbo premium, so we love that. Sitting in the driver's seat is very recognizably a Mazda. Everything's traditionally laid out like all Mazdas. You still have your not a touchscreen infotainment system that can be controlled with a little puck right here. The seat is very comfortable. Everything in here is a nice soft touch, which is something that Mazda does very well. You will get a leather wrapped steering wheel and a leather wrapped shift knob standard in all trims, and it's a very comfortable steering wheel to hold. Kind of a fun little design going on there as well. Like I mentioned, this is all soft touch. I really like the camel colored stitching on the black. You'll find that here, you'll find it in your seats, and then in your dash, there's this camel colored piping as well. And I really, really like that little color combo. It's nice that it's not just like black, and I wouldn't be a fan of it if it was white. So your storage systems are decent. So this isn't actually very deep in here. It's pretty shallow, but you do have two USB charging ports on the inside of your little bifold center console. And then you also have storage for your sunglasses, which is a big win for me. You guys know that. And then of course a retractable sunshade. Also super nice and thoughtful of Mazda to put that in a car. As far as like your storage for cup holders, you got one cup holder, small cup holder down here in your door, and then pretty standard, once again, like my giant water bottle doesn't fit in here, but you know, a smaller water bottle very much would. I'm into the fact that it's concealable too. I always like a nice little concealable cup holder because it just looks more seamless. The design on this whole system looks a lot like fishnets to me. That's just the pattern, it's just what it looks like. You do have some drive modes accessible right here that have a nice chrome trim, so you'll have sport, normal, and surprisingly off-road. Fun fact, this actually has almost an inch less of ground clearance than the CX-9. This has 8 inches of ground clearance. I'm not really sure how much off-roading you're gonna be doing in your CX-90, but hey, maybe if the opportunity arises. You also have a frameless rear view mirror that's auto dimming, and actually in some of the top trims, this can be a rear view camera mirror. Another really nice feature that you get in this trim is a Bose sound system with 12 speakers. That's standard. Let's give you a quick little tour through your infotainment system. I'm loving that you have wireless connectivity with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. You also have wireless charging right down here. You also will get navigation on the Turbo Premium trim. Just to give you a quick little tour too through that Apple CarPlay, this is what that looks like. So on the bigger screen, the 12-inch screen, your Apple CarPlay will be a touch screen. However, on this 10-inch one, it's definitely not a touch screen. So they have the technology to make this a touch screen. Please, Mazda, if you watch this video, please, all I want for Christmas is a pony and a touch screen. So in the Turbo Premium, you will have a half analog, half digital gauge cluster. So RPM, your fuel, and your temp are all going to be analog. And then right there in the middle, you've got your speedometer. That's going to be digital. And you can kind of scroll through here to see some different information or some access your safety. Do you prefer the CX-90 or would you like to see the CX-9 stay? And if you have any questions, you can drop those down in the comment section below as well. And shout out to Team Mazda in Vallejo for hooking it up with today's CX-90. Thanks!